Hi, Exploring Whiskey people.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Exploring Whiskeys. I'm Eric.
And I'm Kevin. Today, we are going to go straight into an American whiskey. This is the Michter's Unblended American Whiskey. Overall, we have 83.4. Sorry. So 83.4 proof. Unblended whiskey really kind of opens them up to do whatever they want with that whiskey. It doesn't have to have a particular grain that's going to be more dominant than another. So it doesn't have to be corn for bourbons or rye for ryes, things like that. It is also opens them up to do some other weird things, like possibly adding flavoring or coloring to change the notes.
The barrel.
And the barrel is actually, that's the one thing they actually do specify here, because they don't specify any of the mash bill.
I've never heard of
anything else.
Anyone else doing this.
But this specifically says it is aged to perfection in bourbon-soaked white oak barrels. So they're using used bourbon oak, to age this, which is more reminiscent of a Scotch than an American whiskey. So kind of an interesting change of pace for what you think of for a lot of the Tennessee whiskeys or the Uncle Nearest whiskeys and things like that. It's a little different.
Let's open it up.
Open it up. The interesting part was always, so Michter's was also one of the bourbons that I first started experimenting in after I came down to Tennessee. And when I saw this, I was like, well, the bourbon's great. Why not give the whiskey a shot, right?
So this one was at the Distillery when I went back in February.
Okay.
The line was too long to go upstairs to the bar to do the sampling, but I did purchase a bottle. I purchased a sour mash, which I said is hard to come by outside of the Distillery. And the other one is the toasted. I've never seen it on the shelf.
I've never seen it.
They didn't have it at the Distillery. We happened to find it at a bar.
And try it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And? Delicious?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd like another pour of that.
Michter's is delicious for a $40-ish bourbon, somewhere in mid-40s, whatever it is. The Michter's 10, the one time I sampled the Michter's 10, that was probably one of the best bourbons I've ever had.
Yeah.
It is absolutely amazing. This is a sourced whiskey, so they are pulling it from someplace. They don't share anything. Yeah. Like I said, I have no idea where this is coming from, have no idea what the mixture is. They reveal no information on this.
Kind of like the Japanese whiskey we had.
Yeah. Yes.
There's nothing out there. I do have a friend. He is a huge Michter's fan, and he always has on his bar cart, but he really keeps it for the Manhattans. That's like his go-to for a Manhattan.
And based off ethanol is there's a surprising amount of ethanol for that level of proof. But once you get past that, that's a lot of sweet.
I mean, there's a hint of caramel, but there's something else. There's something else that gives off that sweet.
Yeah, very oily. Just interesting, coming off of a used cask that it would have that much oil in it, but filtering process is probably what's causing that one. But it's a pretty light overall color, but it's, again, comparing this to a Scotch aged in a used barrel, it's darker than most Scotches materially. So there probably is something added there. Yeah, caramel, definitely agree with that. Outside of that, taste is nice.
Yeah.
It's funny, the taste, there's very little burn compared to how much ethanol comes off the nose.
The taste is much smoother than to the nose. And
that is totally caramel and toffee, very sugary, sweet. There's a little, not spice, but there's a little something on the end of that. Maybe didn't add much to the nose. I was thinking that first taste would kind of ease into the nose a little bit. Didn't add much to the nose. The nose just, honestly, it's totally biased just because I know it. Like I'm thinking it smells like artificial caramel. Like caramel flavoring is what it smells like. And I'm sure it's just a total bias because of reading that or thinking that. But that's what it smells like, caramel flavoring for like a coffee.
Yeah, the button. I know what you're talking about.
Second taste, there's a little bit more. It's not just a huge sweet bomb. There's actually a touch of some kind of a spice, a little bit in the middle of there, and
I get a lot of spice on the back end.
Yeah, lingers for a while. That's again probably the oil.
Yep.
That's gonna kind of sit there and linger for a minute. Yeah, everything comes off as super.
There's some vanilla, the aftertaste for me.
Okay.
Faint, but not like a strong vanilla bean, but like that maybe. No. Back to your point, the artificial caramel, artificial vanilla.
Yeah, like vanilla extract for a cake or something. Yeah, I guess that's a possibility. But there is more of that. The more I drink it, the more of that middle burn I'm starting to get a touch of, which is honestly, it's not a bad thing. It kind of takes away from how overly sweet this is. I don't get much of a fruit note out of that. That's which you get a lot of bourbons with more of a fruit note.
I go back to the nose now. I don't really get a lot of the ethanol. It goes straight to that sweetness. Yeah. Straight to the sweetness.
Yes.
I'd say this one for me, I enjoyed the nose more than the sample.
But I could see it being used as a Manhattan.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a mixer, this probably is great. Yep. Like it already kind of has a little bit of a sweet note to it, so you don't have to doctor it too much with anything else. Yep. It's not overly proofed, so I could see this really being a pretty good mixer.
Be even better with the Michter's rye.
I've never had it, so I can't answer that question. It is actually on the to buy list because I've heard it's a pretty good rye.
Now that you're branching out. I think overall, I mean, I think the concept of using used barrels or pre-soaking in what they're actually going to put, I don't know. I'd be interested to see where they're getting it from. But I think the story's kind of interesting. Again, I think the nose, it's very, very sweet. Overall, it's a pretty decent whiskey.
Yeah, it's a very solid whiskey. $40-ish for the whiskey. If I saw both of them on the shelf, I think the bourbon's the better buy, and they're about the same price. So, take that for what it is. But it's solid. I think at that price point, the bourbon's better.
Yep.
And there's a lot of other whiskeys and bourbons that I think are better. But, everybody has their own thoughts and tastes for those kind of things.
Well, next time you're strolling through Louisville, I would recommend stopping because they've got a lot on there on the shelf. It's just unfortunate they didn't have the toasted.
That is one I want to try.
You can pour your own bottle, but you don't get to pick what you get to put in the bottle.
Okay.
When I was there, they were serving up the rye.
Okay.
So, but that's something to keep in mind.
No.
But
add to the list of reasons why I need to make it up to Louisville to visit. It is downtown Louisville, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Overall, again, I think it's pretty solid whiskey.
It's very solid. It's not the most favorite thing I've had or bought, but it's a nice little different. And if you really like a sweet note, this has a lot of sweet notes. Possibly a little artificial to them. It keeps coming back, like the saccharin note, like artificial sugar. I'm sure it's all psychological, but what are you gonna do?
So, well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed sampling the Michter's American Whiskey. I have not had this yet. Well, again, I like the story, but if you like this episode and even some of our other episodes, we ask that you hit the like button at the bottom of the screen.
While you're down there, you can subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you get notified every time we post something new. And if you have a comment of something you'd like us to try, or if you've had any of the Michters that you really enjoy or what you like to mix it with,
let us know.
Put a note in there. We'd love to hear from you.
So we'll see everyone on the next episode.
Thanks for watching.
Cheers.